Yay!
Hey.
I'm so excited you are here.
Yes.
Rhonda Gibson Willis, Michelle White Talbert, and you who are
Yes.
watching.
Come
Yay!
through.
So November 19th to 21st, Rhonda, you're
November
in
19th.
South Florida.
Yes.
We are here to talk about the ROI Cubed Women's Retreat, which is a return on your investment, a return on your influence, and a return on your impact. It is going to be amazing, and we're going to get into that in a few minutes. But first, we're going to tell you a little bit about who we be. Rhonda Gibson Willis, who you be?
Hey, my name is Rhonda Gibson Willis, and who I be, it's so loaded. It's so loaded who I be, but I'm a licensed therapist. I'm a certified coach. I'm a breakthrough coach, but I'm also very affectionately referred to as your favorite dream pusher's dream pusher. And I love to help women push past the barriers that have kept them stuck from living their purpose. And that's who I be, and that's what I do. What about you?
Yes, and you do it so well. Yes, my name is Michelle Talbert. I am the founder of Her Power Moves, which is a community of incredible women entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, side hustlers. My overarching goal, mission on this planet professionally is to move women from isolation and confusion to community and clarity in our businesses. I'm also a relationship marketing strategist, as well as the founder of Her Power Space, which is a co-working space that is woman forward, men welcoming, located here in Broward County, Florida, in South Florida. So Rhonda, you and I have put our noggins together a few months back and really started to talk about this opportunity to bring women together, especially you're in Indiana. I'm from New York, so I know the benefit of being in South Florida in November, right? And to come together in South Florida to bring a very intimate group of women together in a very luxurious environment to roll up our sleeves, get to work, to also connect and interact. So I would love to hear from you. What brought you to the ROI Cubed Women's Retreat? And then what can women expect from you while you're there on the scene?
Well, plain and simple, what brought me was Michelle White Talbert, because when you speak about community, like you've always been about community. And during this time of COVID, which I said to someone the other day, like when I think about last year, I think of 2019. I don't think of 2020. We're about 100 days until 2022, and 2020 and 2021 have run together so smoothly that it feels like a really long, short time. And in that time, a lot of us in our business endeavors have hunkered down in these places of isolation. And quite frankly, isolation kills. So from the perspective of not only the mental health work that I do, but also in terms of supporting entrepreneurs and really pushing past the barriers, the isolation piece is so big. And you are the queen of community. You are the plug. It was several years ago. I called you something. I can't remember what it was. The Black Chamber of Commerce. Do you remember that? And so when you talk about influence and you talk about investment and you talk about impact and you talk about being in the room with powerful women to be able to really breathe life back into that thing that we're doing, when this last almost 2 years has felt really isolating for a lot of us, it was a no-brainer. And so to be able to bring my Dream Pushers program, my dinner to that was, again, a no-brainer, because it's right in line with that in terms of creating, again, that community, nurturing that community, connecting in ways you might not otherwise be able to. This is where women are going to find their biz besties, the people that allow them to launch further. And then we talk about our dreams. We talk about visioning. We talk about the win that needs to happen underneath that, because a lot of us fall victim to the weeds. We fall victim to all those little things. And to be able to have not only an opportunity to sit down with the reality of being an entrepreneur, because most of us know it looks way different on the outside than how it feels on the inside. Connecting to our strengths, connecting to our resources, being able to see the vision, re-see it again, and then go for it. That's what we do at a Dream Pushers. We identify the dream and then we do what we have to do to push towards it. So that's what they can expect from me.
I love it. And of course, that sense of community that you also bring, right?
Yeah.
You and I have known each other, not just online, but in person for about 6-7 years now, somewhere in there. And authentically showing up, authentically cheering one another on, authentically sharing tips, tools, resources online and off, I believe are where you and I have really built our chops, right? We've really, over these years, taken our professional and life experience and married it in a way that has brought proven success to a lot of women entrepreneurs in our circles, right? Some of which is overlapping and some of which is separate. And that's the beauty of social media, is that you can impact people geographically, right there in your nucleus, or you can impact people globally, which we have both had the privilege and honor of being able to do through the work that we do. And I just love that now we're coming together like Wonder Twin Powers. Activate. Shape of, I don't know, we on Windside.
Right. I love that, by the way. I love that.
Thank you. You know, I'm sitting here in her power space right now. So any minute somebody can walk in and come pick up their mail. Oh, I know I have a booking coming in for a meeting in a little while. So it's awesome. I love the energy. And I want people to see that as soon as you walk in the front door, that is exactly what you see. And that is the spirit with which the return on investment cubed, the ROI cubed, return on investment, return on influence, return on impact, women's retreat was born. So for me, I started in tech in Washington, D.C. after co-authoring a book and being very active on social media, getting opportunities in Forbes and Ebony and other publications to be featured because of social media, right? Because of showing up and sharing the story that I was telling at the time with my brand. And so many women began to ask me, Michelle, I don't understand. How did you end up in a room with Mark Cuban and Jeff Bezos in the same, weekend? Like, I want to do that. I want to know how to get access. I want to know how to expand my brand and make sure that my name comes up at tables. As we say, I will never forget the last time we were in Washington, D.C. together. We were at a conference. And the host of the conference was like, I'm gonna let Michelle introduce herself last, right? And everybody was saying their favorite quote that had come out of this conference, this multi-day conference. And when I stood up to say my quote, now mind you, the host kept saying, Michelle's there, but I'm gonna let her go last. And then he would just keep going to everybody else. Michelle, I'm not going to her right now. I'm gonna go to you. What do you say? What do you say? So then when it was the last person, I stood up and quoted Stacey Ferguson, our Justice Fergie, founder of Blogalicious, who said, hustle until you don't have to introduce yourself.
Come on now. Come on.
And that is my ethos. Your name can be in rooms your feet have yet to enter. And that is due to being able to connect and articulate the value that you bring, right? Because there's two pieces to that. We can connect and be like, girl, I love those shoes. I love that bag, but that person not know what you do. Right. And so part of this weekend, which we're going to get into some of the nuts and bolts of what you can expect at the retreat, but part of this weekend is going to be about how do you articulate the value that you bring and then stand in that value and that power, right? And show up and then show out. And there's two things Rhonda and I know how to do is show up and show out. We might do it at the last minute, but we're going to get it done.
Well, that takes a full understanding of your gifts, right? So part of what I do is like, I help, like, how do you show up? How do you own your gifts and the talents that you have? And too many of us are operating under this guise of humility And so that's why a lot of people don't know who we are and what we do. And so this is a weekend to let that go, to really look at owning the full power of your gift so you can show up in the world the way that you're supposed to, while at the same time feeling your, because a lot of us are running on empty. So how do you fill your cup and connect with other people and go out and do what you're supposed to do in this world?
And that's a big part of it as well, because again, we are humble sometimes for ourselves. But when we are in a community of others, especially women who will say, girl, I see you. I'm going to shine this light on you. You might not shine it on yourself, but I'm going to shine it on you until you're able to hold that torch over your own head. And that's what connections are all about. That is what this weekend is all about. A big part of this weekend is about ensuring that we big you up, that we, like Rhonda said, help to fill your cup, and that you're able to get to center of self to fill your own cup as well. Because, and I'm going to get into one of the things that I personally dislike about a lot of retreats and summits and conferences, is that you're so hyped up in the room for what happens when you leave.
Yeah.
Right. And how do you stay connected? And I think a lot of times, you know, I teach women's entrepreneurship and had been doing it for the YWCA for the past 2 years. And I always say to them, you know, the reality is the sale does not end at the exchange of value for dollars.
Yeah, not at all.
The sale ends at the point at which the person who has made the purchase is satisfied with their purchase. So what that looks like to us is that we are creating a retreat that goes past the 21st of November. Right? It continues, and you continue to get support and help and outreach from us so that your journey can continue to thrive and your business succeed. So I definitely hate that sort of cheerleader in a room. And then I go home and it's like, well, Dad, you were in my inbox every 10 minutes before the event. And I realize you're tired from planning it, sis. Dad, can I get a check-in? Can I get a thank you?
And you know, the opportunity to connect and then do what a lot of us fail to do, which is maximize our social capital. Because we know a lot of really high-powered people, and sometimes we get stuck in these silos. And so really understanding how can we position ourselves and each other to maximize those connections without it feeling usey and inauthentic.
Right. Like your LinkedIn inbox these days, right?
Right.
As soon as you accept the connection, it's like, hey, I saw it. And then it's this long 20 paragraph soliloquy that has nothing to do with you and is all about
nothing.
Right. They don't even know
you viewed your profile. No, you didn't.
No, you didn't. You just
clearly
everybody. Right. Exactly. Because what you're asking me, I don't even do. Right. And so with regard to the ROI Cubed retreat, what it is a place where women like us, and when I say like us, self-select, like we're on the screen, we're giving you our real. This is who we are. If you know us, you know how we show up. You know that you do not have to show up in any particular type of way other than who you are authentically, right? And this is a period for us to come together in a very beautiful setting in Hollywood Beach, Florida. We are going to have very specific sessions on everything from productivity and branding to marketing to happiness and soul wealth. And have a CFO talk about our numbers, not just from the perspective of how to track them, but then how to understand them and then how to make decisions looking at them, how to add a zero to the revenue in our business, how to find money in our existing businesses so we do less work, but get, again, a bigger return, right? How to influence those around us. And the one and only Nick Nelson, brandpreneur out of Atlanta, who is fabulous, especially at shooting melanated folks like us, is coming to not only do your headshots fully included, you will get 2 retouched headshots, but also to do a session on branding. And if you are on LinkedIn or Instagram or know anything about Nick, this is his jam. He is a master at branding, rebranding, getting to the nuts and bolts of who you are and the story that you want to tell and how to best tell it. So we are very excited to be bringing him. So in addition to that work that we're going to be doing, we're also going to have downtime. We're going to have beach time. You're going to be on your own Saturday night. You can stay in, go out, do what you want to do. It's South Florida in November, baby. We have a pool. We have a cocktail party set up. It is going to be amazing food. You're not going to have to think, oh, where am I going to eat next? Do I need to order Uber? What Uber Eats or Postmates or something? We are going to make sure that you have an environment that is fertile in which to grow. It is our job to provide the environment for you to get the return on your financial investment, investment of time, investment of intention. To get the return on the influence. You're already influenced. I know you have a social media account. You wouldn't be seeing this if you didn't. Right. All right. And so to help you get that return and level that up, and then the return on the impact. When you go home, you're going to feel like a different woman. People at home going to be like, oh, girl, you need to go back to that next year too. Right. Yes. And so just really looking forward to creating this really rich experience that you can fully immerse yourself in by staying in one of the select rooms in the house that we are renting on right by Hollywood Beach. Or you can do a commuter experience where you get up in the morning, you come over, you drive and back and forth, park nearby, and come on in and participate. And then we also have the experience where if you want to stay in the house and you have a buddy who you are comfortable sharing a single room with 2 queen beds, you can bring that person with you, your biz bestie, your homegirl, your accountability buddy, somebody who you think should also be in the room, and you can save $500 off of your registration. So our goal is really to enable you to be able to come and really get this good stuff. And there will be no online component to this at all. We've already been asked, will there be a virtual component? And the answer is no. The answer is no, because this is an experience that you have to show up for physically. This is not where you turn it on and have it playing while you're sweeping the kitchen and folding laundry and doing other things and pausing to return calls. This is an immersive experience, and it will only yield you the returns if you're able to put in the investment. And you can't do that. None of us, we're all zoomed out anyway, right? You know?
I'm so zoomed out. What I'm looking forward to most is what I like to refer to as the synergy of genius.
Yes, that synergy.
Because there's an energy when you get powerful women together who are all invested in what it looks like when we all win. And so the fact of the matter is, and so I'm real big on, if I get nothing else out of it but being in the synergy of that genius, and what sometimes those little bitty nuggets of moments, when you go back 5 years from now and look back and go, that one thing was so pivotal in my life and my business and who I became. This is that type of environment where there's going to be multiple times where we have those moments where there's going to be something we're going to be able to trace back to. One day in the room, this is what happened. And because of that, my life, the trajectory of my life changed in this way. So that's what I'm looking most forward to. It's not even about what happens right there, because that's going to be amazing, but it's about the return that will be yielded from it years later. And that's what happens when you get powerful people together. I want to say, look at us. Look at us. We met at an event. Actually, we met online. We met online. And then shortly after, we met at an event. And what was the first thing you said to me?
I'm so glad you are the same way in person as you are online.
Yes. And so that speaks to even, and it was likewise, you were the same person. And there's a lot of us who feel like we have to be different people in these different places. And this is an opportunity to come down and be you.
Yes.
And be fully accepted and fully like grow in who you are in spite of how big your image is out there in them streets. Because we know what it's like to have we both have pretty, our brand, we work on our brand, right? It looks, but come through, sis, be you and connect with your people.
And that's just the thing about it, right? Like, I will be known to have my events walk around with slides on. My heels have the best intentions. They're in a bag behind the stage, behind my podium somewhere. And the next thing you know, I got on slides. And one of the women in our community, like, Michelle, please put on the heels so I can take a picture. Right? And that's totally fine. But I show up as I am. Yes, I want to look cute, but I want to get the return on my investment, baby, because I can't afford them red bottoms if I'm not getting the return on my investment.
And so, you know, there's a time and a season for that, because, you know, we're going to be in a beautiful location. There's going to be plenty of opportunity for, you know, the optics, because we have to pay attention to the optics, right? And at the same time, be cool, calm, and collected. And sometimes your optics might include some slides.
That's right.
The optics still go be winning.
That's right. Exactly. You know, I have to tell a story because it just speaks to a lot of the messages that I receive in my inbox.
Yeah.
One of the things, if you've ever been to a Her Power Moves event, is that we always call what I call the Her Power Down station, which I'm actually going to switch the name to Her Power Up, and I'll explain to you, and then I'll tell you the story. Her Power Down, to be called Her Power Up going forward, is a section of every event that I host that is in the midst of what's happening, but not in the mix. What that means is, if you identify as an introvert, if you identify as someone who gets overwhelmed with peopling, everyone in the room knows that if you go sit in that section, they are not allowed to talk to you. They are not allowed to ask you if you are okay. They are not allowed to stare at you, throw spitballs at you, or anything else, but you are still able to participate in your own way in the activities. I have been hosting events in Broward County with my Her Power Up stations, and Miami-Dade and Jacksonville, and at other locations for other organizations. And I will tell you, we have never had someone use the section because they are given the freedom to use the section. They come to me afterward and go, I was so comfortable just staying in the rest of the room that I was totally fine. Right. And people are amazed that when they come to our events, they are able to fit in. Regardless of where they fall along the spectrum. People look at me and think I'm an extreme extrovert. I'm actually an ambivert, right? I know that there are times when I need to power up by excusing myself. And in the past, when we go to events, what do we have to do? Go to the bathroom, go sit in a car. If we stand out, people think we're awkward or weird. And there's nothing worse than just not being able to show up authentically, only because you get your power and energy from a different source. But you shouldn't have to miss out on the information. You shouldn't have to miss out on the activities, and people should respect your boundaries because we're all different. Right. And so that's a big part of it. And so when we have events, when we host events, women reach out to me all of the time and say, Michelle, I appreciate that you always speak to the introvert in me, that you always provide an opportunity where no one else has ever done this at an event, where I'm still part of the event and people in the room know to just leave me the hell alone. We put battery strips over, power strips over there. You plug your phone in, you power up your phone while you power up your spirit, right? And so with that being said, we have loads of women's empowerment events. This is not a women's empowerment event, but we have loads of women's empowerment events in South Florida. And one of the members of our community in July in Miami, at our Miami chapter meeting in July of 2019, I believe, she stopped to pick up something on her way to our meeting.
Yeah.
And she came in the meeting and we had our meeting. And at the end, everybody's talking and unnetworking and getting to know one another a little deeper. And she tells a story of how she ran into the founder of another women's empowerment event down here in the grocery store and hid so that that woman wouldn't see her. Now, mind you, she was dressed on her way to come to our event, right? And so I was like, girl, why'd you hide? And she said, because I got on pom pom shorts. Now, mind you, what that means, if depending on your age and geography, that is either Daisy Dukes for you, that is short shorts, that is shorts that are short, okay? And she has the body for it, and anybody who wears them has the body for it as far as I'm concerned. But she definitely had the body for it. There was nothing obscene about it, at least from my perspective, right? But she felt that if that woman saw her on a Saturday afternoon in the grocery store in Miami in her pom pom shorts, she would not be held in the same regard.
Wow.
But she came to our actual whole entire event in the exact same class.
That says so much. I mean, like the ability to be comfortable in the space and comfortable to be you. Because I've been in those places where, and it's been a while, where I felt like I had to play a part.
Yes.
I felt like I had to look a part. I had to say a part so that I wouldn't be a part.
Exactly.
And by a part, I mean apart from all the things. This is this is come as you are. Be who you be.
Exactly.
And
I will say, you said what?
And be, just be.
Yes, just be.
Yeah.
However, one caveat, asterisk, side note, footnote, side note is clearly look the way you want to look for your headshot.
Exactly. Listen,
but there could be party up top and I mean,
part of it is
bottom and business up top if you want.
You know, part of it is we understand that we're still brands, we're still marketing, right? So that means that during the times you know that there's going to be cameras out, they're going to look the part that you want to look to represent the brand.
Exactly.
But on the downtime, you don't have to be in there no glamour looks and all of that. Now, I've not been to Hollywood, Florida just yet, so I'm thinking I might have to do some things to make me look like I'm in Hollywood, Florida, because I want to take full advantage of all the photo opportunities, right?
You gotta know.
The house is gorgeous. The house is gorgeous, and so there will be plenty of opportunities to get some things to maximize the optics. So I'm making sure I do that. But then I don't know. I would have a Facebook post up, and I'm like, okay, so you see me right now, but when you see me at the Super Target, you can just pretend like you didn't see me because I look like a whole different girl at the Super Target.
Exactly. It's so true. It is so true. And the bottom line is to just feel authentically ourselves, to feel comfortable. Because one of the things that I teach when it comes to how to unnetwork as an introvert is to plan what success looks like for you. Right? Your intention will help to decrease some of the stress of peopling. And then because you've set, in my case, I always advise people set 2 to 3 goals for the activity. Once you hit those 2 to 3 goals, if you start to feel overwhelmed, you can bounce. You don't have to knuckle through. Right? You can then leave knowing, hey, I got exactly what I came to do. Done. I don't have to stay to the end and they're sweeping up the confetti at the end of the event. And I'm just depleted. And I've had these really awkward, stilted conversations with people because I'm feeling less and less and less comfortable, because then they're going to tap into your discomfort and they're probably going to read it wrong. Because you're not in your authenticity. So for us, the ROI Cubed retreat is about getting you the resources you need, helping to facilitate the connections you need, but also providing an environment for you to be who you are as you are, right? Inside and out. Right. So in terms of some extras, we already mentioned that Nick Nelson will be hosting a branding session, as well as giving you 2 fully retouched headshots. That will be on the Friday to the 19th that we will be doing that. We will also have for you optional makeup artists who you can pre-book book with, as well as throughout the weekend, optional services where you can get massages and spa services for you, poolside, in your room, however you want that set up. And we will have links to that. You'll get that information once you've registered. And I just know that if you're Hollywood Beach, plus spa services, plus done for you makeup, plus headshots, plus info, plus chill time, plus food, plus good music, plus good alcohol if you imbibe. And if you don't, you're totally fine either way. I just feel that all of this will come together in this perfect storm to enable you to kind of just shed a little bit of 2020, 21 that is like literally, like Rhonda said, all ran together.
Yeah.
And as we're heading into the holidays, you can still finish 2021 very strong, walking away with very implementable tactics for your business and strategies for the forthcoming year.
Yeah. I'm excited.
I am so excited. I'm so excited. We have really poured our heart into this. Rhonda, talk about some times when you've actually been at events that have either worked really well or haven't worked well, and what you hope to incorporate into our experience, or make sure that we don't incorporate into our experience with the ROI3 retreat.
The ones that haven't worked really well have been the ones that have been have not been intentional about the community and the inclusiveness, right? So I go, and then you get all of these things, like you get overwhelmed with all this information, and it's like it's the setup for the buy afterwards, right? And then it's like you get just enough to be like, oh, I can do this, and then you realize you need like 12 other things to do whatever the thing is. And then when you go home, it's just all jumbled up, and then there's nothing, right? The best ones that I've had have been intentional about the community piece, has been kind of the one-stop shopping. I love being in a space where I don't have to think about anything else. And if I do, it's optional. And that when I leave, I have actionable things that if I do this, this, and this, right? Here's the thing, and I don't have to necessarily buy into a $15,000 program at the end to be able to, not saying that that's a bad thing, just saying that, you know, to get to maximize that as much as possible, to feel like I've had some level of success outside of that, I'm able to implement some things that give me a feeling of success. So
Correct. And so same thing for me in terms of looking at extras. Let me start there. Rhonda and I are actually, for those of you who book to do the full immersion or Biz Bestie full immersion experience, you will have an opportunity after the event, within 30 days after the event, to have a complimentary / included one-on-one coaching session with one of us, right? Your choice. So once you've had the whole weekend to spend with us, you could be like, oh, Rhonda got exactly what I need. Oh, Michelle hit the nose on the head. Yeah, whatever. Something, whatever. Hit the nail on the head.
It's a nail.
However you want to look at that, right? And so, you know, we definitely ensured that we want you to be able to not just implement in the room and right after, but to be able to have that continual support. And so for full immersion experience, folks, you will get that additional coaching, which I can tell you right now, I know my hourly rate is $250. Right? Hands down. So that's an additional $250 worth of value for you just for showing up and being in the house, literally in the house.
And I'm going to say this right now. Your hourly rate is too low.
Oh, it's way too low. It's way too low.
So they get way more than a $250 value is what I want them to know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Cause I'm gonna just go ahead and channel my Fat Joe. Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Yes.
Y'all better get in on yesterday's price.
Yes. And so here's the thing, like I've had conversations with people where they've said, I spent 20 minutes with you and it changed my life. It changed these things. And for us to recognize not only how our gifts work, but how it can help people move from other things. Now, not to go against my whole other thing that I just said in terms of, you know, when you leave one of those things and you go into, and then there's like this huge upsell. There's nothing wrong with upsells. I just want to say that. But this ain't even that, because I have a certain amount of capacity, and I'm not. So what can they get in an hour with one of us? Either one of us could be the thing that really concretize. That's the word I'm looking for. Concretize. Make it concrete. Concretize all that they've been through for the week, and then have these very bite-sized action steps that really make it come to life and apply to the life that you go back to. There's nothing worse than going to a training or a conference or something and being all motivated and inspired, and you have your things you're going to do, and then you stumble into Monday. Right? You stumble into Monday, and then it goes back to what it was that you've been doing. So part of the application piece requires some of that additional outside objective eye on, okay, so how do you erase the barriers for you to really make this work in your real life? Because before you do that, a lot of this is really theoretical, right? So yeah, so that's right there where the getting's good. It's worth way more than what folks might think.
But even if you are doing the commuter experience, know that we are masterminding in this room. We are working on your challenges. You will solve something. And we have a lot of pre-work leading up to our time together. If you've ever gone through a consulting session with me, you know that I give you pre-work. You need to be thinking before we even sit down. Intention is, it could be ROI 4 to the 4th power, because the intention piece is actually the invisible piece that the moment you click on buy now, pay later, even we got that pay later, good pay later option.
Come on now.
For you, right? That once that begins, we kick off with intention, because a lot of us may think, oh, well, I know Michelle does great stuff, but I need you to know, what is it that you really need to take away from this moment? And Rhonda, same thing. I know Rhonda puts down fire when she teaches and does training. I mean, she called me the Black Chamber of Commerce. Another one of our homegirls, Natasha, tends to call me the Chamber of Commerce whenever she introduces us. And that actually spawned between the two of them calling me that. The Unchamber, right? And so Rhonda brought fire to our very first meeting of the Unchamber back in June of 2021, if you haven't already caught that. And that was all about that community, right? Sparking that community. And so I really appreciate that. It is really going to be about getting the information you need in the room without having to spend additional money to get the next piece. Because for me, this is what I don't want to take away. This is what I have been frustrated about in the past. And this is that I've had women sign up for other coaches and consultants programs that were 4, and in one case, 5 figures. And then they called me and said, Michelle, can you help me understand this program? And that has happened a lot. And it's frustrating to me, because I feel like the people who are putting out those programs, and this is my answer typically when people have done this, is that you need to contact the person who put the program together, because I think she or he really needs to know that you're facing a challenge in these materials that you've spent thousands of dollars to consume. Right. And so to call me at my $250 rate, right, which right now is too low, also irritates me, because I'm like, you know what, Michelle, if you don't put together something that really solves the problem, I'm going to be frank with you. I know the value that I bring. And you guys have been telling me, Michelle, please bring this retreat to us. Y'all have been talking about it for years. We had a little hiccup of a year there because we were going to do something at the end of 2020. But we are back with a vengeance now, because I'm frustrated with you not getting the return you deserve and going to have to seek elsewhere or pay additional money to be able to understand something you've already paid for. Not to mention the time and the frustration trying to figure it out and not having a community to even ask for the answers, right? So to me, that is the biggest piece of our time together on November 19th to 21st is ensuring, did you get it? Is it there? Do you have what you need? Like, can you walk away and be good?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Because if I have to take another class, if I have to take another course right after on the same topic, right, for the same topic, that's not an expansion of, but just to kind of understand it, that's problematic.
Yeah.
And so for us, that is not how we want you to feel. And we are being extremely intentional, there's that word again, about what this weekend looks like for you and your business. And it will be transformative. People come into her power space and just spend minutes in the space and they're like, oh, it's transformative. Imagine a whole 3 days.
Come on now. Come on now. Come on. And your background wall says it all. The intention is we all win.
That's correct.
And how do we win? How do we win in the time that we're there? How do we win in what it looks like when we're gone? How do we win in our lives as a return on that investment? And, it's when they're like, the cost of this, the cost of that, this right here is priceless. Your future self would thank you for making this decision.
That's correct. That's absolutely a fact. That is absolutely a fact. So we want to talk about a few things before we close out in terms of some questions you may have, and we're hoping you'll drop them in the chat as well. When it comes to the cost, like I said, there will not be a virtual option. The cost is what it is. We're not going to turn around and go flash sale or anything like that on you, because to be quite frank, it is underpriced already, right? For the value that you're going to get, because we want to meet you where you are. We have incorporated options for you to be able to pay using PayPal Pay Later, to have that as an option so you can make multiple payments over time for your participation, right? Additionally, we really thought long and hard about the pandemic and what is going on with that and what that means. We will be taking every safety precaution available to us, and plus some that have kept us COVID-free. Bless God, has kept our space COVID-free. I have been back in the space since May 2020. We have hosted people again since May, June 2020, and not one COVID case in proximity to their time in this space has occurred. And it has been a blessing. And I am intentional about ensuring that our surfaces are clean and COVID-free. But in addition to the surfaces being clean and COVID-free, we want to ensure that we are all clean and COVID-free. And the clean part too, especially if you're sharing a room with a biz bestie, right? So we are requiring that you provide proof either of a full COVID vaccination or a negative COVID result within 72 hours of your time joining us. That is a requirement for every speaker, every chef, every presenter, every person who will be crossing the threshold into that gorgeous little mini mansion in Hollywood Beach will be required to have given us this information, because your safety is priority. You can't make money when you're home. Right? You can't make money from bed. You can't make money when you're stressed about your physical well-being. So we want to take that stressor off of the table, right? And then we're going to have additional surprises along the way that we'll be announcing. We are all about additional value. Of course, there'll be a swag bag and all kinds of other surprises. So, Rhonda, what else can we add before we let these good people go?
Oh, it's just going to be a merry good time. Oh, did we talk about the beach?
Oh, the beach. Yes, let's talk about
the color coordination and the group photo. We cannot conclude without a commemorative photo. And so I'm looking forward to, I'm a very visual person. I'm looking forward to that, because that's the type of thing that when you look back at, you get those happy feelings again.
Yes. Thank you for saying that. So I said come as you are. I didn't say we weren't extra. Okay. So we are extremely extra. Okay. Chef Javier, who's coming, said something about lamb chop lollipops. I was like, I don't know what it's talking about, but it sounds delicious.
That
So
menu,
extra.
that menu might get some folks in.
Oh, that menu is incredible.
That
The
menu is
breakfast
fire.
menu, the dinner menu for the Dream Pusher dinner, the lunches that will be served, the breakfast for the folks who are full immersion. We just can't wait to share all of this with you.
You said lamb chop lollipops?
Yeah, right. I was like, I didn't even think of that. You can make a lollipop out of a lamb chop. Super dope. So, but that being said, with that sunrise salutations, which will be led by Dr. Vicki Johnson. If you know her, you already know. And if you don't, girl, your spirit is about to be touched in every way, shape, or form. She will be closing out our Sunday morning closing out our weekend. Sunday morning, we will be on Hollywood Beach, Florida for sunrise salutations. And we are asking that you wear either orange, aqua, or white, or any combination you so choose. Be as flowy as you want to be as, if it's a bathing suit, it doesn't matter, right? We want you to show up as you are and feel as extra as you want to be. And this is going to be an incredible time for us to put that stamp of finality on that moment and mark the beginning of where we go forward as a community after the ROI Cubed retreat. Thank you, Rhonda, for that.
Man.
Yeah,
it's a visual for me.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Super excited. All right. So we are good to go. Thank you all for joining. Please drop your questions in the chat. You know how to get in touch with me. If you have questions, head over to Her Powers. It's actually herpowermoves.com/retreat 2021. So let me put that across the bottom. I just realized it's actually herpowermoves.com retreat 2021. That you can go to register, and we will make sure that you get what you need. And we so love you and appreciate you, Rhonda Gibson Willis. I can't wait to see you in November, girl, face to face.
I can't wait to see you and all the people's child. We about to change some lives.
Love it. I love it. I love it. All right, girl. I'll see you soon. Thank y'all for joining.
See y'all later.